Next is the reaction occurring in the landfill. In this reaction which is occurred in the landfill, that is the biological reaction, it can takes place, and chemical reaction in the landfilling it takes place, and the physical reaction is also which is takes place in the landfill. So in the biological reaction in the landfilling, that is, it undergoes the aerobic and anaerobic decomposition. And for the chemical reaction, dissolution and evaporation and absorption and decomposition and oxidation and the reduction will be takes place in the chemical reaction in the landfill of the solid waste. In the physical, the movement of the gases and the leachate, it will be takes place, and the settlement of the solid waste it undergoes. So in this, the chemical and the isotope analysis were made in the wells and down gradient from the landfill to determine the chemical composition of the leachate on the ground. The in this the whatever the leachate, the quality, the amount of the dangerous chemical which present in the leachate, it will be found out, and the water gas concentration, the amount of the methane gas which is produced from the solid waste is also be tested. The distribution and the concentration of the range of oxygen and methane which permits the anaerobic and aerobic zones, the regional and oxygenated zone and intermediate zones. The ratio of the ratio of the reduced nitrogen to nitrate, which indicates the reducing fonts of the leachates migrates. The pH of the native ground of the water is low as the 5. So primarily because the low pH of the rainfall and lack of calcareous and other soluble minerals in the aquifer materials, where the pH is higher than the 6.6, the leachate, because of the generation of the carbon dioxide, ammonia and the methane, the negative of the native ground of the has the low TDS of 80 mg per liter, while the leachate has an average TDS of 2800 milligrams per liter, and it is a primarily the sodium carbonate type water. So though sulfate concentration are extremely low, the hydrogen sulfide is not be deducted. So the major sources are the cations may be exchanged from the clays and ammonium generated in the leachate. Higher the concentration of iron and magnesia are the attributed to the source of the solid waste. But in the most, the reduction of oxides and coating and degradation of the organic matter, the main sources, the bicarbonate is the organic degradation in the minimal carbon dioxide from the zone. So in this, the landfill inside 52% of the alkalinity attributed to the organic compounds, that is mainly the organic acids, and in this, which is resulted from the fractions due to the formation of the methane. Okay, so this is what the usually the process which takes place in the landfilling. Okay. So in this, there is a process of volatilization. So that volatilization is the landfill gas, whatever it can be created to from the waste, particularly from the organic compound, the changes from liquid to solid and into solid into vapor. This process is known as volatilization. So the landfill gas may be result of the volatilization of the certain chemical which is disposed of the landfill. So that is what the chemical reaction. So in this, there is a few toxic substances which also be generated. So this toxic generation, which depends upon the amount of the uh, solid waste which is presented in the landfill. Okay. So in this, the whatever the landfill gas composed of the uh, by the volume of the solid waste, which contains to about 45 to 60% of the methane and 40 to 60% of the carbon dioxide. So maximum content of the gas is the one is methane, another is a carbon dioxide. So this landfill gas also include the smaller amount of the nitrogen and oxygen and ammonia, sulfides, hydrogen, carbon monoxide, and non-methane organic compounds. So NMOC means non-methane organic compound. It's not any methane, it's an organic compounds such as trichloroethylene, benzene, and the vinyl chloride. So these are the non-methane organic compound. Okay, so in this, how the landfill gas has been produced. First one is the bacteria. There is a three process which undergoes in the landfill gas production. That in this gas production, the one is the bacterial decomposition, it will takes place. Second one is the volatilization, and third one is chemical reactions. The chemical reactions of non-methane organic compounds. Okay, NMOC. So first one, the material bacterial decomposition. It is the most landfill gas is being produced by the bacterial decomposition, which occurs when the organic waste is broken down by the bacteria by the natural process. In the presence of the waste and in the soil, which is being used to cover the landfill. And this organic waste includes food, uh, garden waste, street waste sweeping, textiles, wood, paper products. These bacteria decompose the organic waste in the four phases, and the composition of the gas changes during each phase. Mm, so that is the bacterial decomposition. Next is volatilization. In the volatilization, the landfill gases can be created when certain wastes, particularly the organic compounds, changes from liquid to solid into vapor. This process is volatilization. Non-methane organic compound in the landfill gas may be resultant of the volatilization of the certain chemicals disposed in the landfill. So next is chemical reaction. In this third process is the chemical reaction. In this, landfill gas include the non-methane organic compounds can be created by the reaction of certain chemical which is present in the solid waste. For example, if chlorine, bleach, and ammonia come in contact with each other within the landfill, harmful gases will be produced. Okay, so that is about the production of the dangerous gases in the solid waste. Okay, so I told there is a four phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4 for the volatilization. In this so, in four phases, that is in the bacterial decomposition. In this first phase, during the first phase of the decomposition, the whatever the organic bacteria, these bacteria live in the presence of oxygen and consume the oxygen while breaking down the long molecular chains of the complex carbohydrate proteins and lipids that comprise the organic waste. The primary byproduct of this process is carbon dioxide. Nitrogen content is high at the beginning at this phase, but declines as the landfill moves through the four phase. The phase 1 continues until the available oxygen is depleted, and in this phase the decomposition can last for a days or month, depending on how much of oxygen which present when the waste is disposed of the landfill. And oxygen level will vary according to the factors such as how loose or the compressed the waste was when it is buried. Okay, that is the phase 1. In this phase 2, the decomposition starts after the oxygen in the landfill has been used up using the anaerobic process. So in this, the process does not in this anaerobic does not contain a smaller amount of also oxygen. Okay, oxygen is completely nil. The bacteria converts the compound created by the anaerobic bacteria into the acidic, lactic, and formic acids and alcohol such as the methanol, ethanol. The landfill becomes the highly acidic as the acids mix with the moisture present in the landfill. Uh, and they cause the certain nutrients to dissolve, the making some of the nitrogen and the phosphorus available to the increasing the diverse species of the bacteria in the landfill. The whatever the gases byproducts of this process are carbon dioxide and hydrogen. If the landfill is disturbed, or if the oxygen is somehow introduced into the landfill, the microbial process will be returned to the phase 1. In the phase 3, the phase 3 decomposition will start when the certain kinds of the anaerobic bacteria consume the organic acidic acids process produced. In this phase 2, the form of acetates and anorganic acids, the process which causes the landfill to become the more neutral environment in which the methane which has been produced by the bacteria, which has been established by the themselves. Methane and the acids producing the bacteria have the symbiotics, are the mutually beneficial, and which has been have the acid produced the bacteria which created the compounds of the methanogenic bacteria to consume. See, these methanogenic bacteria consume the carbon dioxide and acetates, too much of it, the toxic and acid producing the bacteria. In the fourth phase, the decomposition begins when both the composition and the production rates of the landfill gas remains relatively constant, where the gas usually approximately 45 to 60% of the methane and 40 to 60% of the carbon dioxide, and 2 to 9% of other gases. Such gases are sulfides, gases which produced at the stable rate in the phase 4, typically for about 20 years. However, the gas will continue to emit for about 50 or more number of the years after the waste which is being placed in the landfill, and the gas produced might last longer. For example, if the greater amount of the organics are being present in the waste, such as the landfill receives the higher than the average amount of the domestic animal waste. So that's about the reactions of the which is occur in the landfill.